great. Today is so good afternoon, colleagues. The last time UCU took strike action over pensions, which wasn't so very long ago, but we came out of our own. Today there are 4 unions out taking action over pensions. Next time there may be many more unions taking action over pensions. This is a campaign that can only get bigger. But let's be clear, it's a campaign about much more than pensions. There is much more at stake now than our pensions. Actually, what we are campaigning about is the very fabric of the welfare state. Because what people want to do, and we know who we mean when we say what these people want to do, what they want to do is they want to dismantle that welfare state, and they want to open it up to so-called private enterprise, and they want to turn it into something capable of making money. Well, it's worth reminding ourselves why the welfare state was created in the first place. It was created because there was a view that there are certain things in life that shouldn't depend on how much money one earns, shouldn't depend on people's resources, but should be based on needs. Really basic things. Access to healthcare, access to education, access to pension, access to some sort of provision if at some point in our lives we find that we don't have work. All of those things, basic requirements. And people took the decision, a very enlightened decision, many years ago, that actually these are things that shouldn't depend on our income, and nor should they be left to the market, because the market is no way to provide social security, real, genuine social security. And what we're doing is we're stripping away that security. We're turning over our welfare state to the likes of organisations like Southern Cross. Do you want Southern Cross running your schools? Do you want Southern Cross running universities? Do you want Southern Cross running the health service? Can you imagine a situation where we can't depend on our schools, our universities, our health, the whole myriad of social services? Because we won't know whether they exist in a year's time, because we don't know whether some greedy, avaricious company has overstretched itself, and as a consequence is looking at potential bankruptcy. And for example, people living in nursing homes, or students in universities, or pupils in schools will find that actually the services that they're depending on suddenly may not be there. Well, actually, what we've done is we have created a system, imperfect though it is, we've created a system in which we've had access to those things, and it hasn't depended on our income, and we knew that we could depend on them. And all that is now at risk. We're told that is unaffordable. Who decides that it's unaffordable? It's not unaffordable. If we choose to pay for it as a society, we can afford these things. Can we afford our pensions? Yes, we can. Can we afford a comprehensive health service? Yes, we can. Can we afford decent schooling for our youngsters with class sizes that are respectable and where good learning can take place? And can we afford a higher education system where youngsters can go to university without coming out saddled with huge amounts of debt? Yes, we can. We can afford all of those things if we choose as a society to take it into our hands and provide it. If we want to be dictated to by the people who say it's unaffordable, we can't put ourselves in that position. We simply cannot, because these people are driven by greed. They're driven by avarice. And that's not the basis on which we want our welfare state. So it's in our hands to decide if it's affordable. And if we do, and if we take it upon ourselves to do that, we can afford all these things. Actually, we can afford it and more. But we can only do it if we stand together. And we can only do it if we start to turn the tide on the arguments that are very persuasive to lots of people walking up and down the street, that somehow these things are unaffordable. Well, if we decide they're affordable, they are affordable. but we have to get out there and we have to make those arguments, and we have to change minds. Change minds of ordinary people. So actually we become an unstoppable wave of pressure. And those people who tell us that these things are unaffordable are simply isolated, and they become powerless in the face of our power, people power. Colleagues, it's great to see people today. I'm looking forward to joining up with our colleagues in the teaching unions. Absolutely extraordinary. A union like ACL that has never taken national industrial action out on strike today. These really are significant times, and it's great to be part of it, and let's keep the movement marching forward. Thanks, mate.